Yes. I can
All
hear
right.
you.
That's the first. Now the next one is to record, to broadcast to Facebook Live. Let's see. Can we do it all? I was
Possibly.
so mad last time because so many people was watching, but then, like, when you don't, it doesn't look like a public service announcement if you're just talking. They don't see this.
Yeah.
I had graphs and everything. Took a lot of time. I'm doing it again. You know that. I'm letting it go.
And that looks good. It looks good how you showing it now.
Yeah. Okay.
Getting somewhere.
Okay. Can I email you the link?
So,
please check your mail now. I'm doing this show. How can you tell me that
I'm over here looking at your screen, thinking that it's my screen. I'm like,
no. See, that's why I have to like do this last, because I have to now go back. It's like a DJ. You're really like a DJ.
right.
You got like I wish it was just one button that everything would just behave. And my computer has been acting the fool because I downloaded something I forgot to erase it until I figured out, share in a group.
I mean, you got to download everything nowadays.
Well, I know last time I didn't have it down. That was the problem. So it's a process. It's like taking us like 3 weeks to get it. Like the first time we just didn't show up. We didn't even wake up on time. Me and Britt was missing each other. And it has gradually gotten better. Then we had our first show. Then we had our first show, and then it had to cut off because something happened. Like after like 10 minutes, it cut off. So yeah. So what I do is I post it on my Facebook group, which is Afrimerican Vibes, and
oh, I have to follow that right now.
Yeah, please. I'm about to do the same because I'm about to follow it on the. I'm about to watch it on the. I'm about to see it on the screen too, so I know how it looks.
Oh,
that's
nice.
another thing. It's like once you're on the panelist side, sometimes it's hard to like, once you're on the panelist side,
oh man.
Yeah, like you don't know how it looks on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't know how it looks because you're just always on one.
On the other side, yeah.
So that's why I tell people like go register, because I register so I get a reminder the day before that my show was coming on. I'm like, this guy. You have to check your email. It's the same. And I know he got the reminders. Did you register? Oh, that's what I'm saying. Black people. Now I'm in the show. That's when they want to ask me all the questions.
Oh my God.
Pages. I don't. Where's my groups? Which one is groups? See what I'm saying? I don't even understand what's going on now. Oh.
Awesome. Everything is working. I'm so proud of us. We got everything working. I finally
are you on there already? Is it?
No, I'm not on yet. I'm just testing my.
I want to make sure it's working or I see at least what it looks like. And we could be broadcasting now. Okay, no, I'm not. I haven't gone live yet. That's why. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I know what I need. Hold on. There's one thing I need before we go. I need to get a blurb of something. See, this is what I need to. Hold on. Where am I? Forget it, Marlon. It's too late. You can't do it now. It's like there's some like you have to write village, square, live. Culture of health. Watch us now. Register for the, this is what I have to, this register for the, for the weekly webinars at www.afrimerican1.org.
Right. Do we have a what is our topic that we're going to be discussing?
Oh yeah, we're culture of, it's on there, culture of
oh, okay, culture of health.
Culture of health. So basically, I'm going to go, it's a lot of the stuff we've kind of talked about. I'm going to go over a lot of the like the cultural things that have to do with health.
Okay.
In African culture. Then we're going to have our What's Normal segment. I do that all the time. That one is just, you know, whatever is new in your new normal. We're going to try and, you know, that one I try to make it like kind of like a monologue.
Okay.
You know, so it's like, it's not for like a deep dive into the topic. It's kind of like we drop it, a couple of lines, you know, you give me some feedback. And then we go from, you know, then we go on to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I don't know, then I think as far as how me and Britt normally do it, I'm not saying that's how we're going to do it, but that's at least is that like, she's more of the, you know, not, my voice is very scratchy. People don't want to hear my voice. They want to hear your nice voice. So what they normally do is, okay, yeah, I think, yeah, he's coming in soon. All right. Anyway, yeah, so like basically it's like a lot of lobs because I get like, it's like, oh, so what do you think about this? That's how it starts. I mean, but of course we should have a different dynamic. I'm just saying like more of like, I'm the scientific, you know, facts kind of thing. And then she's like the entertainment, you know, knowing how to finagle and, you know, and her unique, with her unique perspective, you know. So like, it's kind of, that's what's like the entertainment piece bouncing off my rougher.
Your fact-based, evidence-based.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going live. I just wanted to see that blurb and stuff. I have to get that even more set up.
I love it.
Next time will be more, but at least they should know how to register.
Let's see.
All right, let's see how's this working. I need to go to the. So how do I go to groups in the dang on?
What are you trying to work?
Okay, here we go. Afrimerican vibes. There you go. All right. Can I go on there?
Yes. Got it.
All right. Okay, they're showing the one from yesterday, but trying to see, are they broadcasting live now? Unable to live stream? What? Black people.
What up, Apollo? What up?
I know. We might just have to keep on going because I don't even understand why he's doing that. All right, I'll try it one more time, but if it doesn't work, then we'll just go to the, see, don't count your chickens before they hatched.
Okay.
Live on Facebook. All right, we're going live on Facebook. That's what I was trying to do the first time.
Look at us. So we are working stuff out.
I know. On live, like. It's all good though. It's all good though. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's just been like a work in progress, trying to figure it out, trying to get all the things in order. And then every now and then it all works.
Best things are not perfect. So.
Yeah, but so like next time I'm going to make sure I log on. What's going on? I got to go all the way back here. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to hurry up, but this is
sharing your timeline, sharing your group. Boom. There you go.
All right, come on.
Claude Anderson. You know I'm writing that down for my book collection. So,
please do. Oh, come on now. All right, preparing the preview.
Thank you.
I wonder if anybody's.
Look, you know better than me because I be trying to do all of this stuff. I get so overwhelmed. I have my two
Well,
computers.
trust me, I'm just trying to maintain. I'm just trying to maintain. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. And then my computer, look at it spooling. Like, of course, you want to spool now. That's what you want to do because you're a black computer. It's a black computer. Black computers how they act.
Oh, even our electronics takes it on.
I mean, it's everything. The cat, the dog, the electronics. Oh my God. The square culture of health. Register at www.afrimerican1.org because there's no point doing it without telling them how to get there. Village Square culture of health life. Jesus, please just do it. All right. 1, 2, let's do it. Come on, baby.
Come on.
Come on with the come on. Come on, you can do it. There you go. There you go, webinar. Loading up. Come on. Redirecting to Facebook Live. Are we live? Now we got to go back to, let me go back to the page and see if it's coming up. Come on, come on. Don't start no foolishness now. I don't know. It may, I don't know what's going on. Why is it not doing? All right, it's not working. We're just gonna have to go. Or is it? Hold on, I wouldn't know. Oh yeah, we are live. Oh shit, I'm over here. We are live because it just says you're live. It says you're live on the thing. You see it there? See where it says live?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Just noting it for future reference so you can save my ass next time.
I got you.
Got it. Yeah. So now we're waiting for the schooling so we can get the dang on. All right. We almost there. You know what the problem is? Like, I mean, because I don't want to like broadcast live when we're not like ready. You know?
No, I know.
So it's like, I mean,
we gotta get each other ready.
Everybody in the world is watching us right now. And I get to edit it afterwards, but at least for now, everybody is watching my slow computer slowly get information from Saturn. This information is being stored somewhere on Pluto. Thus, it taking light years, literally, to load up. No, I think it must be something to do with the Facebook Live. Must be doing something. You know, I normally have very good internet, but because of the pandemic, yeah, that's one of the new normals.
Yes, slow internet. Yes,
very slow internet.
Yes, it is.
I normally have lightning internet, and now what's going on? Really? Have it never been like this? Okay, here we go.
Start paying for more.
All right, come on. Oh my goodness! And why is it showing my whole? There we go. Oh, hey man. All right, I'm just. Can I take like 5 minutes just to walk around and just recover from? All right, let's get started.
You got it.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. If you're watching us live on Facebook, I want to welcome you to the Village Square. It's our cultural town hall. Today's topic is the culture of health. And we're here today with the lovely Devan, who is, well, we're exploring a little bit of collaboration. What do you think?
Yes, we are. And I feel like it's going to be a great one. It's a lot of power here.
I agree. There's definitely some synergy going on. some back and forth, some chemistry. That's the word.
Yes.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about the culture of health, and I love this is one of the best topics that that we do at the Afrimerican Culture Initiative, because it is very important to the community to understand that when we talk of culture, we're not just talking about culture like dancing and people running and maybe some traditions here and there. Now, of course, those are part of the culture, but when it comes to like culture, like real, how would I say this nicely? It's kind of like we're looking at culture from an exterior position. You're not looking at it from being African and what's important to an African as far as what African culture is about. You're looking at it from outside, like white people looking at our culture and say, oh, well, I like the way they dance, I like the way they this, but it's kind of like peripheral, I guess.
Right.
So we're going to go into some of the deep down stuff of what goes on, like what African people actually find important and some of the things they still practice today, and to do with health. So that's what the topic is about.
Oh, this is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. I think this is a very, very important topic for us to talk about because there are so many health disparities in our community.
Yep, definitely. And a lot of it goes to some basic things, and we're going to talk about them. Let's not give it all away right now. But before we, this is, and we want to go into our first segment. And for those who are just starting with us and just learning about us, this new, it's called What's Normal, and it's just basically us talking about a lot of the new things that we all have to get used to in the pandemic. So can you please start us off, Devan?
Oh my goodness, yes. What's new and normal for me? Today I realized, wow, I literally, seriously, really cannot go anywhere without a face mask. Yep. So I've been trying to stay safe this whole time, stay home. And I went out to the store today, got right out of my car and forgot to put my mask on, and they didn't let me in the store. So wow. I feel like that's going to be a new normal for a while.
I mean, it's like that all over the place. I mean, it's like, like today, I got some news about the NBA. By the end of July, they're talking to Disney, and they're like thinking, okay, they might start the season or some version of the season in late July, and that's really exciting because I mean, like we was like right in the thick of things. I'm a Celtic fan, and I mean, I got Jason Tatum, we got Jaylen Brown, we got my favorite Marcus Smart, Marcus. So anyway, that's it's like that. So we all got to get used to all kinds of new stuff. Anything else? Like anything else you noticed?
Anything else that I noticed? Oh man, just everything being online. That is super stressful. Everything is online. So now there's no separation from being at home with your family and work. Yeah. Which that's already hard to separate your work life from your family life, and so now it's all kind of mixed together. And I think I'm in a space now where I'm like, okay, how can I really make all of this work just in case this does become a new norm? So
right. I mean, I think it is the new norm, actually. I mean, I think that it is the new, I mean, this is what it is. There's no, in fact, we're all reopening. It's Memorial Day weekend. Everybody's out there trying to get out, and I'm not going anywhere. I may have maybe a little barbecue or something little small, if one or two friends, close people, somebody, whatever, maybe that, but nothing major, because the bottom line is, I just think that people are just, they're just, I don't know, American lifestyle is very like self-indulgent, and I think that we're trying to have it our way and eat it too. And, oh, well, we can still go out and socially distance. There's some situations, there's just no way. It's just going to be more infection. And more infection means more death. And more death means more dead Black people. So I'm just not, I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not, you know, I know everybody wants to make money. I don't know what the solution is. I'm not trying to pretend to know what it is, but I just know that I'm not really going to be doing much, you know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, what was interesting is when they decided to reopen our state, the mayor said, not enough people have the virus, so we're going to reopen the state. I said, what a tough decision to have to make.
Yeah.
Right? Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's one. I'm very proud to actually live in Boston and Massachusetts, because at least our leaders are acting with some brains and some sense, and, you know, they're being measured. Massachusetts was the last state in the nation to announce its reopening guidelines. And I think that has a lot to do with, you know, we have a very strong medical industry here in Boston. So I'm just real proud of that, because you know what, they're actually, I mean, you know, on the other show with Britt, I got, you know how I have, you know, I named it Reopening and then Reopening 2. Now, we're going to do a Reopening 3, obviously, because we want to see the effects of their opening, but I'm glad that we're actually waiting a week. And this is going to sound kind of funny, and I'm not really, nobody wants anything to happen bad, but I'm not in control of these things. And in Arkansas, they're already having a resurgence. They announced today that they're having a second peak already.
Wow.
And they're still opening. So you're having a peak and then you're opening. In Montgomery, Alabama, a Black mayor there, he's talking and he's saying that, look, we have one ICU bed, one intensive care unit bed available. If you need an intensive care bed, and I quote, he said, if you need it, you're in trouble. Those were his words.
Oh my goodness, wow.
Now and we're opening, but we're still opening. So I don't know. I think that people need to be calm. People need to use their sense. Don't go anywhere. I say don't go anywhere. Really, it's not over.
Absolutely.
This, you know, yeah, I know we want to go out and have fun, you know.
But we still have to be smart about it at the same time, because I know yesterday was the first day that we reopened, right?
Yeah.
I drove by several parks, and I usually try to get out at least to take a walk.
Right.
And it's usually in a big open space where there's not a lot of people. So yesterday I went out for my walk, and while I was at Houghton's Pond, there was actually tons of people at the pond, like out there swimming all together, no mask. And I was like, wow, like I get it. We all
next time, I wish you had taken some video, would have put it on I'd have played it.
Oh my goodness, I'm going back tomorrow because
well, make sure you get us some footage. Make sure you get us some footage, but get your mask and be in a safe location. We are disclaiming any issues.
Not 6 feet, I need 12, please. 12 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I actually went out and bought the plastic
face mask. Yeah, no, I mean, so that's where I'm at. I mean, I'm just not happy. I think it's a little too soon.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that is happening, especially with the new normal, is that I'm finding it more difficult to talk about things that are apolitical, because as a nonprofit, we 501c3, we could actually lose our license if we're seen to be political. But then the issue is that we're not being political, but the problem is that our president is making everything political.
Everything.
Everything is political. So if you want to have a news kind of fun facts, news and updates show like we're having, and leave out what he leaves out to be non-political, you would have nothing to talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's like, you know, I always make mention when people say that, I say, you know what, let me tell you something. I had to tell my daughter not to listen to the president. And I'm going to tell people on this show not to listen to the president, because he told people to drink disinfectant and shine ultraviolet light in your stomach. Shine it in your stomach to kill the virus. That's what this man said.
You know what? We're going to let that one sit.
Yeah, we're going to let that one go. Sorry. My bad.
I can't with him and his antics.
Yes, but you see, this is what I'm saying, but it's now infiltrating into culture, because now I have to tell, culture is way of life. So now I've got to tell my daughter, And my daughter actually now sometimes, because maybe I'm doing research, listening to news, she gets upset. She's 11. Okay, let me say that again. She's 11.
Oh wow!
She gets upset and walks out because she's like, because when I was even giving her the conversation, my daughter was looking at me like, okay, either my dad has lost it to think that I would actually drink disinfectant, or this is an early stage of middle-age crisis. She actually had that look on her face. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, this is a cultural issue, but it's also a political issue, because even to wear masks, he made it so political. Some people are getting shot behind wearing masks. I mean, telling people to wear masks in America today. Yeah, it happened like 2 or 3. Like somebody got arrested, somebody got shot, somebody came back and got shot because
breaking out. Yep. Fights are breaking out. I actually seen a woman who made a live while she was in, I think, a dollar store, and she was extremely upset because the woman didn't give her 6 feet. And so she went absolutely crazy on everybody in the store because she wanted her 6 feet. But it's like when all of these things are being pushed out at us and we're afraid, that stuff kind of happens.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Mental health.
And if you hit it right on the head. The president of the United States mongers in fear, and fear is a part of culture. So if you're playing to people's fear, and it's now changing the way we live our lives, it's just unfair. Because you know what? This woman, maybe the woman you're talking about, maybe it's not even like she did it purposely. She literally just freaked out because she's having a phobia or something. We don't know what's going on with her.
Yes.
It's not even like she did it on purpose, maybe. Like, she just started getting claustrophobic. She may have never been claustrophobic a day in her life before. Absolutely. But because of, it's a pandemic, all of a sudden you're thinking all these new things.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you said that because, America is kind of based off of fear, right? People are led by fear. Fear is something that's pushed on us every day. Sometimes we're being pushed to fear the things that might save us. So that is, like we're talking about culture, that's a part of what American culture is built off of. And so when we're talking about what we're going through right now, when we're talking about mental illness and mental health, a lot of us, because we're stuck in the house because of COVID-19, a lot of us are going to have to learn new norms for treating our mental health.
Yes, because mental health, people always look at mental health as if mental health is like you're either crazy or you're well.
Right?
And there's a whole lot of in the middle that, unfortunately, the worst part about mental health is that the scars are invisible. So it's even easier. It's easier for me to see that I'm on a wheelchair. I can't walk. Okay, the guy's handicapped. So I know how to accommodate that. But somebody that's mentally ill, you can't even see the scar. So you don't know what kind of mental illness the person is having, right? Maybe it's, I found myself, funny enough, one of my coping mechanisms started kicking in about maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. I started playing my daughter's guitar. I don't have a guitar because I played my guitar. I know I play guitar, but I bought a guitar for my daughter. So I have to buy myself a guitar basically. So what's happened is that, but because the guitar was there and I don't have a guitar and I needed a stress relief, I started playing my daughter's guitar a whole lot more. Right. Oh, wow. So, but it was because it was a coping mechanism that I used to have in college or, when I was growing up. But, when you start working and start paying them bills, when you start paying them bills, the guitar kind of, falls to the side there. So, I started, like about 2-3 weeks ago, I started really playing guitar. And I said, I'm going to write a song. I'm going to, just making it kind of constructive to be sort of a way to, relieve some stress, because now I'm in the house more than I've ever been. My body is probably as rested as it's ever been, but my mind is probably as taxed as it's ever been. So, I had to slow down. I was talking like,
everybody's like,
hello, boy, hello.
No, that's pretty interesting. This is a very real topic to talk about because, even over these last 3 months, like people might not feel like it's been a long time, but 3 months is a very long time.
It's a long time. We've been in there for a grip.
We've been in here for a grip. And so when even myself, when I go outside and there's like more than 5 people, I feel anxiety setting in because I've been in the house for so long. And now it's almost like your body forgets that other people exist. And now that we've been doing all these Zoom things with everybody, it's almost like, I'd rather see you on computer. This doesn't feel right. Like this just doesn't feel
I get
normal.
what you're saying. It's actually more comfortable for me to talk to you here, because if you were here, I'd be thinking, now where the hell has the van been today? Is she coughing?
Don't let me go.
Well, look at her very well. She might be coughing. I gotta keep an eye on her. Mm-hmm.
Don't let me see. We don't know what it is.
I hear you.
You know, so that's becoming something that's, you know, a little deep. I went outside and I was at the drive-thru trying to get me some coffee the other day, and the guy was yelling and screaming at me because he didn't like the position my car was in. And I said, I had to tell myself, you know what, he's probably been in the house for a long time. You know,
he had that look, huh? He had that little twitch in the eye, like, I know what that looked like. I know what that.
Oh man.
You know, I freaked out. That one time I really freaked out. But I didn't really freak out, but in my mind, in my body, I was freaking the hell out. But on the outside, I was still looking cool. So I go to I'm at the grocery store, and I'm doing everything. You know, I've been like working the whole grocery store, because you know when you go in there now, is this big process. You grab the wipes, you wipe your hands, you keep the wipes. You know, you have the strategy that you're using to survive through the grocery store. Because that's like, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm gonna get it, it's most likely gonna be there, because that's the only place I really go. You know, because I have to feed my family. So I go in there, and after I get done, I mean, I've gone through the whole MacGyver, the whole James Bond. I mean, I've done it all, man. I've gone through the whole thing. I put my card in, right? As soon as I put my card, I typed my PIN number to pay, and then I just put my hand right on my glasses and rub underneath my nose. And I just look at myself like, oh my God.
Put my hands on my face.
I just put my hands on my face, and I don't even know. I mean, I was so cautious, and somehow I just pressed my PIN number. I was about to say my PIN number. I just pressed my PIN, and then all of a sudden, I'm there, and I rub my nose, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, I got coronavirus on my finger. I got coronavirus on my nose. Oh my God. And I still have to sit here and pay this woman. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking around. She's looking at me, and she's in a state where I wanted to ask her, do you have anything? But you can imagine what she's feeling, right? Every day with behind the plexiglass, you know, and they've got their face going, and they've got all the masks. They can barely breathe. They're punching in numbers and and ringing up all your groceries and stuff. So I didn't even feel like even asking her. So I just kept quiet, and I just got all my stuff, and I left. On the way out, I now saw the woman. I was running to those wipes that they put in front of the store. So, but before I got there, the woman comes out of the side with the woman that sprays down all the,
everything.
Yeah, she sprays down the carts. So she's spraying down the carts, and I just say, spray my hands.
I don't blame you.
Spray my hands now. And she sprayed my hands, and I rubbed my face like with the spray.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? I know. But I was like, I'm not going to catch no coronavirus on my nose. I ain't going to get it.
Oh my goodness. You know, what's interesting is that, there have been movies that have been preparing us for this very moment, right? Like The Walking Dead and movies like that.
I can't watch none of them movies right now.
You said what?
I can't watch the movie. I've been watching this morning. Me and my daughter watched Last Avatar. I want to watch cartoons now. I don't want to watch. I gotta see. That's another thing I'm doing. Like, I'm making sure I'm watching like things I would never watch just because it's like Sesame Street. You got to be calm when you're watching Sesame Street, right?
Right. Yeah, no more red flags, please.
So You know, I mean, I think this new normal, I mean, all I can say is that, I mean, what I worry about American discipline. That's the one thing that America is not, disciplined.
Yeah.
And I hear it on the news. Oh, you know, it's good to know that we can come out to the beach for once. It was so boring. I'm like, boring. That's the problem. People are dying and worried about boring.
Right.
You know, it's like,
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. What do you think?
No, I definitely understand it. It definitely goes back to learning how to self-soothe and finding other things to do and having hobbies. I definitely feel like we live in a culture that is full of what's the word I'm looking for? Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Yep.
You know, we're in a culture of that, so that's more pressure on some of us.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know how to be at home and craft and sew and find new things to cook and clean and ways to build up our immune system. So I've been trying to add onto my things that I do daily to, I guess, keep the wheels turning in my brain.
No,
adding
it's
on
good.
a new, adding on a new thing that is good for my health. You know, adding a new seasoning or a new herb, drinking a different type of tea, having a teaspoon of sea moss gel. Just things to continue to build up my immune system, you know, because even when you go to the grocery store to buy things, you know, everybody's touched them all. You know what I'm saying? So I've looked up ways to sanitize my fruits and vegetables.
You know, I've just changed the slide because we've just been talking about health. So I hadn't changed the slide. But what you're saying is actually what I think is probably, I actually don't want to let this part of the new normal go. And see, because a lot of people, as an entrepreneur, I've learned how to because, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have nobody that's waking you up. You don't have nobody to answer to. I could wake up today and I could just scratch my butt the whole night, the whole day, watch Netflix, and there's nobody that's gonna say anything. I could have called you before the show and say, you know, I just not feeling like it, you know, and not do it. So basically, the good thing about entrepreneurship is that you actually have to have that kind of ability to structure your life and to make sure that you're following what you're saying, you know, building up a schedule of things that you do and learning how to be with oneself. A lot of people can be with others, but they can't be with themselves. And that being with oneself, you can't even, I think I've seen some people actually destroy them to have to be faced with their true self.
Ooh,
you know? And this quiet and this storm, I don't want to actually let it go. I believe that my relationship with my children is doing, I mean, extremely, extremely well. I mean, really, it's like we're walking around here smiling and singing and it's like one of those, you know, like Mary Poppins or, you know, everybody's just happy. We're just, because we've never spent this kind of time with each other.
Rediscovering each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As it should be. And, you know, that's a part of being in that busy culture that we're in right now, right? If you're not an entrepreneur and you can't be home all the time and see your family often, right? You have so much time away from your family. Your kids are growing up so fast and you miss it all. You sit down one day and you're like, when did you turn 30?
Right.
Where did the rest of it go? You know?
And I don't want to let that go.
Yes, I feel you. So there's a part of me too that's kind of tugging. Do I really want to let go of this new norm, or am I ready to go back?
Well, I mean, like there's certain parts, but that part, I don't think I want to let that go. I mean, I really don't think, like my son is doing way better. Like, you know, I mean, because my son is, you know, he's a teenager. He's in school. He got all kinds of, you know, I mean, of course, I do definitely know he needs to go out and have fun and stuff like that. We're not saying that, but I'm just saying that like a balance. Because he just having me be the one knowing that, okay, dad is about to whoop my, and or know that, or know that, oh, you know, I'm gonna lose all my privileges because of my video game because my dad is like right here, you know.
Right.
You know, it's making him much better. Like I said, I mean, of course, I do want to go out. This weekend. I'm getting like some new patio furniture and some other barbecue stuff. I hope it comes in today. If it doesn't, then oh well. But I'm doing that because I never at home, so it didn't matter. I was using some old stuff, so I'm like, no. since I'm going to be home a lot, we're going to be grilling. I'm going to get me one of my cigars and I'm going to chill, you know.
I love it.
But before I'm working too much. So, but you know, one thing I want to say about before, when I'm an entrepreneur, I always look at some people and I realize they actually can't put that structure together.
Yes.
And they can't do it for themselves. And that's why they're like, oh no, and they say it openly. Oh, you know what? I can't do that. No. I mean, you can get up. No. I need to have somebody on me to do it. And I'm like, you're proud of that? Like I mean, that's almost like saying you're unable to take care of yourself.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
So, and to segue into our topic of today, that is kind of what the culture of health is about. The culture of health is that there are things within culture, and it's not said anymore. It's just done.
Right.
And you're doing these things and you don't know why you're doing these things. You don't know the ramifications of some of the things that you're doing. But if you zoom out and just kind of take an honest look at it, you'll begin to start noticing that, this is actually very good for me. And we're going to go into some of those things, now. For those that just joined in the show, whatever, my mother's African American. She's from Virginia, and my dad is Nigerian, and he grew up in Lagos. So that's kind of part of what I do, is at least find some of these cultural artifacts, things that are in that everybody can understand about culture, and try to show how they relate. So the first thing that I always talk about, and I think we've already talked about this a little bit, is about like recipes. Ooh. I've talked about that before, but I think I talked to you about, I don't know if I talked to you about there's an economic recipe speech I have, and there's a health one. So we'll go with the health one. The health, most of the recipes, when you think of a recipe, you're thinking of a meal. Thinking of a traditional African meal, doesn't matter what it is, but usually these recipes come from a location. This location has natural plants and animals that exist in that area. So I'm sure, like, we do not have squirrels in Nigeria, right? We do not have a yak in Nigeria. We don't have pine trees in Nigeria. So none of our food is going to be made of any of these things, right? We do have, and some of these things, when you have them, they contribute to good health, right? For instance, there's one this is a funny one, but I like using it. Tobacco is not native to Africa, or at least where I come from in Africa. Let me just put it like that, because Africa is a big place. somebody in the middle of, I don't know, somewhere, Timbuktu, something like, we got tobacco here. We've had it for millions of years, and I'll be looking stupid. So at least from where we come from, tobacco is a foreign plant. So smoking is a foreign idea. So, and because we're so enrooted in culture, while there is smoking, while Benson and Hedges they do grow tobacco in Nigeria, I believe now today, and they do sell cigarettes, and everybody sells cigarettes. Still in the culture, it is not something that we do openly. Even if I'm young, I smoke, I'll even have a cigar. I'm really not gonna smoke around my mom. Even though I'm 40 something years old and I can do what I want to do, I'm not, and it'll be all of us, all the men, whatever, let's say we have to smoke, we'll be in our little section and they will allow us to do it there.
Respect, that's respect.
But yay, that cuts down on secondhand smoke. That also makes me smoke less, because obviously I can't just be going around smoking my cigars everywhere, right?
Right.
I don't smoke around my kids. My kids, never see me smoke. If you come to my house, you will never know that I ever smoke a cigar. I don't smoke a cigar, last time I smoked a cigar was like maybe a month ago. So it's not like I smoke a lot, but you will never know, because it is a separate thing, not part of my everyday life. It's something I do to kind of be a vice. It's more of a vice, and it's seen as a vice because it's not part of our culture.
Right.
So those are some of the things that that people might know. But we do have weed, lots of weed.
I was gonna ask. So
no,
is that the same for that?
No, we got loads of weed, loads of it.
I was gonna say,
wait. Do you have any questions? I want to tell you something, a very peculiar story, because, and these are some of the things that the African side of me would not want you to know, but I will tell you. You have any questions with the weed though?
Yes. So culturally here, when we use marijuana, it's usually because it's that, like you said, it's a vice, but sometimes it's a way for us to get through our mental things, or sometimes it's used to numb a feeling or an emotion, or it's recreational. So is it seen as recreational there, or is it more of a medicinal effect that it's used for?
I think it's kind of both. It's spiritual.
Okay, I like
it's
that.
More of a spiritual thing. While yes, it is seen as medicine. It is seen as mental health, help for depression and mental health. It is seen as a medicinal, kind of on the medicinal side of things. Even in Islam doesn't see anything wrong with marijuana.
Okay.
Yeah, Islam, because it's natural. It's just like it's natural. I mean, they're not saying go get blazed every day,
right,
but
right.
they're not, it's not the end of the world. They would see more wrong with alcohol, which is foreign. This is another, the other side, these things are foreign.
Exactly.
So it's funny enough, that's why I wanted to talk about the spiritual side. And I'm going to tell you something about, have you heard of Fela Ransom Kuti?
No.
Okay, Fela Ransom Kuti, for all intents and purposes, is probably like a Bob Marley of Nigeria, right? Except for he came from nobility, like the Nigerian elite, and then became more of a rebel and more of a prophet, kind of galvanizing force, right? So he has he smoked a lot of weed, like I said, living the Rasta kind of ethos, right? Although he wasn't Rasta, because of course that's peculiar and particularly Jamaican. So Fela, I'm gonna say Fela. I'm talking with my bro. Fela. Okay, so Fela has a shrine, right? There was an older one that got that he used to really practice that, but now they have what they call the New Africa Shrine, and his son Femi Kuti is the one that really runs the show. And really, it's like a little concert hall, and they sell alcohol. They have concerts there. People from and it's real cheap. All the local the local people from the area like to frequent it, especially what they call area boys. Basically, like I guess here they call them the hood boys. The disadvantaged, poor people in the community. They go there, and it's like a place where you can openly smoke weed. You can openly go there. Police, nobody's gonna disturb you, because but you see, there's a funny colonial aspect to this Fela Ransom Kuti stories, because Nigeria has a problem. Well, colonial mentality has set into Nigeria to the point where some of the things that we actually believe in spiritually, we're ashamed to say it outside because somehow it doesn't fit into European Western norms. So marijuana is illegal, right? Because it's illegal. But marijuana is actually right there in that place, right? In the Fela shrine. And it's there forever, and it's never going anywhere. Now, the kicker to this story is that if you go like less than 2 or 3 miles down the road, you're going to be at the governor's office. The governor. Wow. So we're talking about the governor of the richest Black state in the richest Black country in Africa.
Wow.
And only 2 miles away from the center of the New Africa Shrine, center of weed and everything, is the governor, the seat of government of Lagos. It's called Alausa. That is the place that that's where the governor's place is. And the new shrine is not too far away, right? And it's illegal. Remember, that's the kicker. It's illegal. Now, if you looked at that story without looking at the context, obviously it can't be illegal if it's right next to the governor's place and you can just go there and nobody's stopping it.
Wow.
Right?
Oh
I mean, obviously it is.
From here.
But why, so why is it illegal? And the reason why they can't stop it, and this is why it goes to us, is because the area boys, the boys there, have a spiritual connection to the ground. They call them omonile. They have a spiritual connection to the ground and what comes out of the ground, and they are from there. Like these people are from, see, it's not like here where, oh, you're Black, no. They actually believe they come, like, I mean, you're from Africa, so you come from the ground, and you're actually from that ground. You actually grew out of that soil, so to speak. So if the Lagos state government, and I'm so bold, I challenge the Lagos state governor to, as I'm speaking here today, I challenge him to shut down that place. The whole Lagos will scatter on behind of Fela and what Fela is about spiritually. They can never touch it. It's impossible. So why don't you just say it's legal? Because guess what? The same white people you're following in Massachusetts, weed is legal. So they've even gone past it, and you're sitting there on some old idea.
Yeah,
you know,
no, it's very true. It's very
you're still there on some old idea because, oh, that's the right way to do things.
Wow.
And so that is how spiritually strong marijuana is in African, well, at least in that Yoruba culture there. So
while you were talking, I had to look it up. I wanted to see, you know, kind of what it looked like. And you said excellent. The new. You said the new. So I'm like, why did he say the new?
Because there was an old one that his father really was the one that brought up. I'm not sure. I don't want to. I believe somehow there's something happened, like it was destroyed or something like that. I'm not sure, but I don't want to.
Fire. So I was gonna say, was it? Because I also was looking through and it said he was a human rights activist.
Yes, he was.
So it said that there was a fire. So I'm like, did they
maybe? I knew there was something happened. I just didn't want to say something that I was not 100% sure about.
You gave me homework.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I needed to know that.
No, don't worry. We're going to listen to some fella. He's what I'm saying, like he's like a Bob Marley. He's a national, international, you know, he has like the t-shirts like Che Guevara and Bob Marley, and you know, I'll share some information with him afterwards. And he has a wonderful story, because I said he's a noble. He's an elite. He's not like his mother actually was part of the delegation that went to England to ask for our independence in the late 1950s. So he was actually like from, you know, the highest levels of society. He just loved his people and, you know, had to speak out against the corruption that was going on in Nigeria at the time.
You know, you said something that was also really, really interesting to me in all of that. You said something about how spiritually connected they are to the soil, to the ground, to the area.
Okay, yeah.
That right there was super powerful. And it also spoke to mental health as well. So in college, I was just taking a course maybe like 2 semesters ago. And the course was basically about human development. And I went into this whole course totally wrong, because my teacher tore me down in the beginning of class, because he talked about nature and the big role nature plays in us, and how, you know, us as African American people being taken from that land so many years ago and being here and not feeling connected, because a lot of people don't feel connected here. And so because of that, there's some kind of separation that's drawn that creates a trauma.
I mean, that is you've just described the foundation.
Yes. you're missing something within yourself. You're seeking. People are seeking and searching, trying to figure out who they are, and they can't find the answer because they're not connected to the land. And so that's super deep and speaks to, you know, kind of what we always have been going through here in the society that we're in now. But it's also being highlighted more and more while we're going through what we're going through with COVID.
It's why even if I had to rank the issues with African Americans and Native Americans, while both are terrible, I would just give the Native Americans a little bit extra love because at least they have their land. You get what I'm saying? And they're connected to that land. I mean, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying, I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, you know, yes, they got wiped out, but they have their land and their culture. So regardless of how bad they were beaten, they know that they were beaten. We don't even know why we were beaten. We just know that there's some reason why we're here, and here we are.
Yes.
You know, so, and you know, and it's that foundation, to piggyback on that foundation. You see now, can you imagine this weed, right? That has put so many of our brothers and sisters behind bars. Okay. Imagine the fact that, funny enough, this weed is actually it's part of your ecosystem. It's part of your natural. So what I'm saying is that if a slave came over here from Africa, and of course he knew weed in Nigeria, at least he knew, at least they got weed over here, right? But that connection is now seen to be as dirty.
Right.
As wrong. It can earn you some jail time. It is negative. While in Nigeria, probably, like I said, in Yoruba land, probably the most, and I would say very easily, Yoruba is literally the #1 African culture worldwide. It is found in Cuba. It is found in Brazil. It is from, and not saying you don't find other things there, but the prominent one is Yoruba. And I attribute it, they're kind of like the royalty of African culture, if you ask me. But, and I'm not Yoruba, before they start saying anything. But this is talking about the culture in that place. That place is, they actually, and that's what it's called Omonile. Omo means child, and Ile means like land.
Okay.
So it means I'm a child of the land. Another way of saying is son of the soil.
Oh wow. Interesting.
And that's how they see themselves. So they're ready to fight to the last drop of blood for that land, because they see themselves as extensions of that land. So now what has been done to African American communities now, so you had a connection, okay, they took away most of the connection, but now maybe you saw weed. Okay, at least that's the connection that reminds you of home, right? Yeah. Now, and the medicinal purposes of it, you know, all what it has meant for us as a people, or even all the way going back to Africa as a psychedelic, as an antidepressant, all the things that now is legal for here in America, right?
Right.
Those things were used against you wrongly because, you know, I mean, I always, you know, used against African Americans, used against us wrongly.
Purposely.
Made us feel ashamed of something that was our natural connection.
Yes.
Punished us for having this natural connection. Now, we did not break that natural connection, as we all well know.
Okay.
You got to do a little bit. You got to crack the whip a little bit harder because I'm smoking this damn joint. Goddamn it!
I absolutely love it.
You're gonna have to crack that motherfucker just a little bit more because I'm smoking me some weed. So, you know, people, you know, that is the crux of the pain and the trauma that African Americans, because it was a natural connection. It was part of your natural ethos. It's part of, it's like your fingers or your hand. It's an extension of you. Yes. It's part of the recipe of your life. Absolutely. And it was now turned against you, and you still have to do it, but still be doing in the corner ashamed.
Yes.
Giving people power over you because, oh, you're smoking weed. Oh, you guess what? You're going to jail. Okay? So these are the, you know, these are the foundation of of the supremacy.
Yes, absolutely.
That has, you know, and the lie that has been perpetrated. And now, after so many years, multi-generations of going through this, now
Yes.
we are in a state where it's just, I mean, it's almost like, I don't even know how we survive.
Yes.
No wonder COVID, in fact, we should be happy COVID-19 isn't killing more of us. I'm surprised it isn't killing more of us.
You know, that's really interesting because, so I took a farmer's training course a few years ago. And a lot of the times when I was in that training, it was like a 29-week training. And so I was telling all of my friends and family, oh my God, I'm taking this farmer's training program. This is amazing. Like every day I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is put my hands in the dirt. And it got to the point where every time I went to the farm, I had to take off my shoes, walk through the dirt with my shoes off and everything. And I'm telling you, I felt blissful in that farm. But one thing that I found is that as I'm telling people about it, I had a lot of women who said, put my hands in the dirt. Why would I do that? Why, like, what, you want me to garden with you, grow food? What? And I'm like, you know, I feel like that's another piece of, we're missing wanting to even be involved with this land that we're living on. We can be involved and we can regain that, but we have like a sense of fear, a sense of pain and trauma from slavery. There's a lot of people that don't want to be in the dirt and be on a farm because of the cotton field.
I think there's a lot of facts. There's a lot of,
you know what I mean? Yes, yes. It's a lot of things that are equated to that push us from it. I went to North Carolina a few years ago and I was able to visit a lot of Black farms. And I was super interested to find that there's a Black farmer who chose to use his family's farm to grow cotton. And a lot of people felt like, oh my God, why would he do that? And I said, that's pretty interesting of how that's kind of like the power of, it's kind of taking your power back in a way, right?
It is.
I'm not going to let this scare me. I'm going to do what my people did because at the end of the day, they were providing, even though it was under slavery, but we have to change the narrative to fit what we're in today, not be separate from it.
You know, I've had this discussion with so many people and I've never heard it said as good as you've said it now. I'm stealing that, let you know. And you know, but that's how I sound so smart. I steal so many, I learn from so many people. What you said is the crux of our problem. Now we've discussed the crux of African American problem and health and everything to do with the physical, but the mental, how do we get out of it? That what you've described is actually the problem. The problem is that now we've confused white with right. We've, you know, so now we need to separate those. So there was nothing wrong with growing cotton. In fact, growing cotton is a very profitable business.
Yes.
But there was wrong, what was wrong was slavery. Right. Now we have mixed two things together. And because of what the slavery that had happened, we have forgotten that we are also expert cotton growers.
Right. Hello. One of the
we were not working for ourselves.
Yes.
So that fear has economically paralyzed us because the one thing that at least we can say that there's nobody that can do this cotton like us. In fact, I bet you if you ask the Black slaves at those times, I'm sure they would come up with even better ways of doing it than the way that it was done.
Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. And so I feel like, you know, it also it kind of like speaks to learning how to separate emotion from logic.
There
like,
you go.
Separating that past thing that happened, like we got to grow out of it. A lot of people feel like, you know, holding on to it and yelling and screaming about it is something that's going to move us forward. And it's really not. At some point, we have to learn to move forward from it. Yes, it has happened. Yes, we have suffered. Yes, we're still suffering. And we're only still suffering because we haven't changed the narrative. We just keep complaining about it.
I mean,
you know.
I know. I mean, I hear everything you're saying. I hear it loud and clear. It's deep. Literally, you know, next week we're having a discussion. It's called Anger Within, and it's about this. So, and it goes, you know, everything kind of mixed together because it is about the health. That is the problem. What you're saying. I have had a man tell me that he does not like what is it? It's about suits. Yeah. That he thinks that wearing a suit is a form of cultural oppression. And I go, hold on, but everybody in the world wears a suit. Everybody, white people, black people, Asian people, people from every corner of the planet, everybody wears a suit because it's an internationally accepted culture that for business, you wear a suit, right? And yes, I know it started as as white culture, I guess, but fine. I mean, white people have culture. They're allowed to have culture. It's not the end of the world. I mean, they have culture that we can adopt. It's not like at the end of the world. We have culture they can adopt. They have culture that we can adopt. But he looked at that suit as the symbol of white supremacy. And there was no way I could tell this brother that that I just didn't, that I just didn't agree with him, that it's an international thing. It's not black people. Yeah, maybe white people started. I get that. I'm not trying to say that, but it's accepted now. So why don't we join the fray, right? And there's nothing saying in Nigeria, we wear suits from like maybe European stuff from Monday to Thursday. On Friday, it is generally accepted in Lagos, anyway, that you can wear traditional to the office.
Wow.
So I mean, it's just a balance, but it's not like, oh, negative or not, or not negative. This is an international marketplace. You better get in where you fit in, bro, and let's make this money.
Exactly. And that's pretty, you know what? That's pretty interesting because I grew up around a culture of men who they used to teach all the other men, and as well as the women, they would teach us to look our best when we went outside. I grew up around men who wore suits every single day. And the thing about us is we give away too much of our power by saying, oh, that person created that. That is an inner thing. That is the inner thing that we all have. We want to go out. We want to look good because deep inside, we know that we have to look presentable. And so to give away our power that way is kind of foolish.
Well, I would say it's wrong. I won't say it's foolish, but I won't say it's wrong. The reason why I won't say it's foolish is because there's a reason why. These people have tormented us to the point where we don't have our culture anymore.
That's true.
Do you know that it's actually an international, it's actually the UN considers like destruction of cultural artifacts as like a crime against humanity? So what would be destroying somebody's language? What more cultural artifact is there than a language?
Huge.
I mean, there's nothing more. I mean, and they're talking about ISIS maybe being in Iraq, breaking down some Islamic temples. Okay, yeah, I'm not saying that's not culture. That is culture, but it doesn't compare to like the recipe of a soup that keeps us healthy.
Yes.
Because the soup has leaves and it doesn't compare to health.
Yes.
So when you now look at what was lost, and that's why I think that this is why I'm pushing this organization and what we're doing, because we are going to frame this whole narrative in the idea of cultural loss, and we're not going to frame it in, oh, we have lack of education, oh, we have poor health, oh, we have mothers, single babies, we have drug problem, we have people in prison. No, we're just those are the symptoms, but the real problem is that we don't have that cultural foundation that every other human being has. That's another fact. Even the Native Americans, while they were, I will never say that, I mean, it's a Holocaust, what happened to them. Travesty, just as bad as what happened to African Americans.
Yes.
Right? But the only thing I can say is that thank God at least they had their culture and their land. No matter what, they had their land, their culture and their land. Yes, they got beaten back. They were defeated. It was a war. That's why it was a treaty between them and the Native Americans and America. So, and that treaty means that they were respected, at least at some point, as opponents.
Yes.
Even if you respect me as an opponent, that is something positive.
Yes.
Right? You didn't even respect me as a black man, even as an opponent.
Right.
I was an animal.
Yes. Yes.
So there's nothing that can come out of that. you have to address that, and we have to address, and the issue that, you know, because what it is that if African Americans have never experienced the true culture, they don't know so much about the true culture, which is on purpose, of course.
Of course.
They don't know what they know. They don't know what they're missing, so they can't be foolish to shun it.
Absolutely. And
that's where I'm coming
from. This is
from.
a huge topic of health that we're talking about right now. I just want everybody watching to know how everything we're talking about right now has to do with health. Yes. Mental health, because everything starts in the mind. And secondly, your stomach. It also starts there as well. But you were, again, they brung us from a different land. And so now here we are with brown skin that's supposed to be fed by a certain ray of sun. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Our hair is supposed to have a certain amount of sun. So can you just imagine what that's taken away from us being able to process, being able to think, being able to sort our emotions? It has a lot to do with us.
The climate change causes depression. We know that. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Climate change, like coming from Africa where it's 100 degrees. My son, when he came here, when he was 5, you're talking about a kid that was running up and down in Nigeria, up and down, to now sitting down in an apartment in the cold.
Wow.
He gained weight. It was it wasn't, you know, I mean, he wasn't the end of the world, but I mean, you know, he had problems, with the adjustments. So imagine multiple generations of that.
Absolutely.
Under slavery.
Culture shock.
No, but I mean, there's so many different, I mean, just to quickly tie up some things, just so at least we can, I want to just make sure I hit some points, because I had some points that I wrote down here. One thing, you know, because we're washing hands a lot, right? Mm-hmm. There's one thing that, you know, in African culture, washing hands is so, in fact, you remember, we're talking about Africa, so their soap is they have things that they use to clean, don't get me wrong. It's not like, but it's just not the traditional idea of soap.
Right.
Right? Okay? And their toilet paper, right? They wash. There's no, they actually see toilet paper as like backwards, because all you're doing is smearing stuff around.
Right.
We would prefer clean, out the shower kind of stuff all the time. Fresh. Yes. We want to be fresh, you know? Yes. So you can see even just the perception that toilet paper, when people are running up and down for toilet paper, and I'm looking at toilet paper as a derogatory way of cleaning oneself.
Right.
Because I'm thinking I'd rather get soap and water and make sure there's nothing to discuss, right?
Absolutely.
And you know, and that is, you know, some of the things they do. We wash our hands if we want to eat, because we eat with our hands. Remember, no fork and knife. You know, understand what I'm saying? So we eat with our hands. So therefore, before we eat, they will bring a bowl of water, and you will wash your hands inside. Up to today, the men, especially big men like me, you know, I would just be sitting there. They will bring the basin. And they'll bring the basin and say, hello, sir. I'll just put my hand out. They'll put some little soap in my hand. I'll wash my hand. I'll be washing. They'll be holding it there. I'll be there talking to my friends. Oh, yes. And, you know, did you watch the match the other day? I'll be washing my hand. And then they'll give me a rag. I wipe my hand and I give it to them, and they go. And I eat my food like a waiter at a restaurant, right? That's, I mean, because it's part of our everyday. So we have that. It's not new. We're not introducing anything to that, right? So that's one of the things I wanted to point out about the culture of health. So sometimes if you're practicing your natural culture, you're just going to be necessarily cleaner. Yes. Now, we don't have deodorant. That's another story, but that don't mean I'm dirty. I'm just stinking. You get what I'm saying? I took my bath that morning. You can bet your bottom dollar on it. I just didn't have no deodorant. I doesn't. So.
Oh my God.
I got a kid on everybody. I got to jump on one purpose. I got to jump on the next. I've talked about tobacco. No milk. Milk. Funny enough, there's an idea of yes. They talk about you, man. They talk about you. They say that especially if you're a man drinking milk, and that is seen as like you're a baby. Only babies drink milk. But hey, too much lactose, that's probably explains why we're all lactose intolerant, you know?
Exactly. Because we're not supposed to be drinking a cow's milk. That's why your mom has milk for you in her breasts.
Yes, that's the kind of relationship it has. So if you like milk, you like breast, you're soft, you're kind of, you know, sugar and salt are also known to make men impotent. Yes, trust me, men do not be, you don't even play, like, I don't want no salt, man. I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
No, I don't want that Coke, bro. I'm good, man. I had a donut this morning. I'm fine.
A lot of American men love sauce on everything and love sugar and everything.
Well, I mean, that's what these are some of the things. I don't know if they're real. I'm just giving you some of the cultural norms and like inside scoop on what people think and say.
Makes sense.
Right? So that you don't do certain things. So just because of that, I'm not going to want to be drinking milk in front of my homeboys because it's going to look soft. I'm not going to have too much salt and sugar because, you know, it's dangerous for me. And then my tastes start adapting to things that are less sugar and less salty. Because now anything with a little bit of salt, I'm like, no, it's too much for me.
Wow.
I don't want it. Right? So less high blood pressure, less a lot of, you know, all those kind of things because of that. I'm not saying we don't have it, or I'm just saying that these are some of the things that we have in our culture. Fat shaming. Don't go around no African aunties with too many pounds on the hips. First of all, most of them, it's not, I mean, let's not get it wrong. If you can definitely be thick. The idea of fat in Nigeria is different from the fat here. White people fat and black people fat is a different kind of fat, right? So when I say fat shame, I'm talking about you have to be huge.
Okay.
Right, it's not just no thickness, no thick thighs. If thick thighs was a problem in Africa, it would already be a pandemic.
Right.
Everybody got thick thighs and some junk in the trunk in Africa. I mean,
oh my God.
I always tell these young men, I say, you guys are suffering here. I mean, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. When only 1 in every 10 women got a little junk in the trunk. I mean, I don't know how you survived, bro. I just moved. I catch a ride to Haiti somewhere. You got to get out of here.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
You know, so, but you know, fat shame is really, they will talk about you. They're like, because the idea is that I don't care about your feelings. If I talk about you and you lose 10 pounds, then you're gonna live longer, and that matters more than your little sensitivities right now.
Woo, man.
Hey, in the end of the day, I think that with COVID-19, some people there may have survived if we had put pressure on them to not eat that extra donut.
And that is very true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Across the street from my son's school here in Hyde Park, they just built a Burger King. Thank God coronavirus has come so that they never opened it.
Oh.
They never opened it with my kids there. Can you imagine? Otherwise, they would be selling burgers right now, every morning, every night. That my children go to school, there will be a Burger King smell in the air.
Oh my goodness.
Then so those are some of the things. Anything else I can think of? Okay, yes, sickle cell. That's a very big health one.
Let's talk about it.
Yes. Now, sickle cell, when you're getting married in Nigeria, there are some questions we ask.
Okay.
The questions have to do with things like marriage. Are you is the person getting married? I mean, is the person a philanderer? The person, a womanizer? Because that shows a form of weakness. This goes back to that self-gratification thing. There are loads of self-gratification things in the culture, right? Okay. Absolutely. So can you control, because we want to see, because remember, you're coming to my house to take my daughter so that you guys can continue my dynasty.
Right.
That's why you're getting married. It's like Game of Thrones. You got to get married to the king and the queen. That's how we operate our wedding. So you're marrying into this family. That family has these assets. They're known for this. They're known for that. We want to know, are you known for alcoholism? Are you known for, and this is done till day. And this is not like something that happened yesterday, or this is done today. If you know, are you alcoholic? Do you have mental illness in your family? right? What else again? You have mental illness in your family. Oh, then of course the sickle cell. What kind of traits do you have? Because if you have an S trait, you know, it's like you can either be, you know, it can be AA, AS, and, you know, and all the, you know, so you don't want to be SS, because SS is somebody that has sickle cell. Right. And I don't want to go too much because it's kind of complicated. I don't want to confuse, but basically there's a gene that you have in your body that will, if the other person has it and it matches, you can now have a child that is very, very sick.
Right.
Right. And it's called sickle cell anemia. And it means that your blood platelets, your blood, the shape of the cell, your blood cells are in the shape of a sickle, like a half moon. Yeah. Right. And therefore you don't get kind of blood. Ironic thing to do with health. This is a natural mutation that helps prevent malaria. So people who have this trait do not get affected by malaria.
Wow.
It's just a natural mutation. So anyway, but we don't want to have sickle cell. So I am AA. my mother, my ex-wife, she has a sickle cell trait in her thing. I don't know yet. So my daughter has a carrier trait.
Okay.
Okay. Now she does not. She has no problem. She's never going to be sick. She may have some immunity from malaria, or whatever. But if she gets married, although she has a carrier, she can. But when she gets married, you have to be sure that the person she's marrying does not have an AS. Yeah. Because there will be a possibility that they could have a sickle cell child, and it's like condemning a child to, I mean, a very painful life, right?
Wow.
So these are cultural things that we do within the marriage to protect our health.
Right. So that's all pretty interesting, because I feel like a lot of American families do that as well. It's probably not on a huge scale, but my mom made sure all of us knew if we had the trait or not, because it actually runs in my family. My cousin, my twin cousins actually had it, and one passed away from it. But yeah, so that has been something that we have also had to worry about. And anytime children are coming into the family, my mom always wants to know about the medical history, always. Yep. I don't think it's probably as huge and as cultural as it is, though.
No, it's not. But and so therefore there are so many lives that have been lost because of that knowledge was not passed down, because white people can't pass down the knowledge because it's not their knowledge.
Right.
So when they were telling us not to practice our culture, there are things that that they did not know that by stopping, it wasn't just language and food. It was it started a whole cascade of different issues, you know, that are piling on top of each other.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. That's so interesting. I think that, excuse me, let me share this again. One moment.
Wow, we are going, and we're going strong. We're like, it's you know what? This is very good sign, Devan. I'm very happy that we're working together.
I'm very happy too, because I think, you know, again, people need to hear this information. I love to hear this information, especially coming from someone who knows the culture, who's actually been to the country, whose family is deep into the culture. Because a lot of us, even myself, I've spent a majority of my time trying to figure out why didn't what I felt inside of myself, like my soul, why didn't it connect to the norms of the place that I was born in? Why do I not connect to some of the people that I'm, you know, interacting with? You know what I'm saying? Because there are some of us who are very in tune with who we are within, and we know that we're different. And then there's some people who are just super captivated in society. But I always used to try to figure that out and had nowhere to turn. Like, I've gone from culture to culture to culture and practice to practice to practice, because I'm like, who am I? Who are my people? And who do I connect with? Who can understand me? Who can feel me? Who can teach me? And so I think that this is extremely powerful, because I know that I'm not the only one who feels that way.
You know, the funny thing, what you said touched me. And I hear it very well. But you know, the funny thing is that I'm not that deep in the culture, and I am, how would you say? In fact, the only reason why I know what to say to you is because it's like, it's not just knowing the culture, it's actually knowing what to say to you. Because on the other half of this conversation, we have people in Nigeria probably watching us right now that do not understand what African American issue is. And having this dynamic of talk, and also some of them are not proud of their culture the way I'm saying it. That's another thing.
Wow.
Because if I was deep in their culture, if I was really deep Yoruba, deep African, I would be keeping all this information to myself. And wow, also, I wouldn't know what you need to hear, what you need to relate to. So that's where we have to thank God for my mother's side. Because like I said, my great-grandfather, Thomas Bethel from Virginia, this is my great-grandfather. So this is somebody that was born in like the 1919. So his grandfather was a slave. So I knew a man that knew a slave, right? So it's that connection that this thing is going both ways is what I'm trying to basically say. Absolutely. You're getting what you need to get, but I'm not in Nigeria. They consider me an African American, and in America, I'm considered an African. How about that?
So how does that feel? You know, to be from a place and not fit in, and then be in another place and not fit in. I'm not saying not fit in.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I mean, it has manifested in this organization. I'll say that. Whatever that means, I'm fighting it back. I'm fighting back. But yeah, my first experience with it was in college when, I don't know, I forgot what happened, but there was some kind of scuffle between Africans and African Americans. And somebody looked at me and they was like, and they go, oh no, don't talk to him. He's not Black, he's African. And that was the first time that I realized that I was Black, and I wasn't Black and I was African. And then, because to some of them, I relate like an African American. But you know, and it happens right now, I relate to Africans. I think, of course, because of because of culture is so strong, I identify more with the African side of me because I grew up there more and this and that. And also, when I relate to my African American brothers, we're not interested in same things because obviously my African American brothers, they're you know, like I said, they're experiencing trauma.
Right.
So there's things that I want to talk about that, funny enough, it's only the white people that are talking about, because I've been raised the way, I don't know how to say, I've not been raised white. That's not the right way. I've been raised right.
Right, exactly.
So I've been raised, I have to go to college, I have to get married, you know, all those, you know, that, and everybody practices this. It's not just, you know, whether you're from Asia, you're from India, wherever, everybody practices this stuff. It's, you know, and it's strong because, of course, we have traditions. I mean, you know, we have, the culture to live. And so I think I identify with that, but I understand what's going on. So it has been a battle for me to always find a way to bridge the two. And this organization has been a manifestation of my understanding of this topic. And I feel that, I mean, it has not been easy, but now that I'm, you know, I guess middle-aged, I guess now it is coming out. It sounds like it's real easy, but I used to, in Iowa, when I was in college, I started the first African night that we had in Iowa, and every Sunday we'd play African music and you know, and in a club, because one of my uncles owned a club. So it's just something that's been in me to bring people together with this African thing. That was like 20 some odd years ago.
Wow.
And it's just always been something that's been in me. But the African side is just as, I just want to be very clear, The African side is just as lost as the African American side in this topic. But the issue is just that, like the Native Americans, I just give them the edge because they have their culture and their land.
Wow.
So I give that, that's why I'm not going deep on African. Trust me, when I get there, they know me. I'm going to be opening my mouth anyhow. And I'm going to be talking about how they need to change that weed law because it's mental slavery. You're just enslaving yourself for no reason. You understand? I believe that my African people are enslaving themselves for no reason, that you have a temple, a shrine of African culture that has marijuana up and down it. You cannot stop it. However, legally, your law is stating that it's illegal, even though your governor lives a stone throw away from this temple, from this shrine.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's just mental slavery. But Nigerians are so smart, they don't want to hear anybody say anything. They got everything figured out, so fine. And they are very smart, but still, they don't have it all together.
It's still an interesting balance, not balance, it's still an interesting thing, I feel like, where here we are, we attach ourselves to African American. And, you know, a few of my friends are always like, I want to go to Africa. I want to go back to Africa. I said, do you think they would really accept us there with the movies that they watch and the culture that we don't have? Are we that same type of African that they are, you know, for us to be fully accepted?
You know what?
And I think it's a very, yep, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say it's a very I feel like thin line there where I feel like I appreciate what you're doing here because I feel like it's bridging a gap that we definitely need to bridge, because instead of the separation, why not come together? Especially if you're a strong people and you're really strong in your culture and you know who you are and you know yourself. Why would it bother you that we don't have culture? Why would it not bother you to come teach us and us teach you? You know what I'm saying?
I know. It's you know what? I have a blog. It's called The Tribal Diaspora, and it explains that the problem is that Africans, we're used to seeing different tribes of Africans. And in that use of seeing different tribe of Africans, we are competitive. I call it your mama syndrome. Whose mama is the best mama? My mama is the best mama. Right? I mean, everybody's going to say the same answer. You have 10 people in a room and 10 of them come from 10 different mothers. All of them going to say that their mother is the best mom. Right?
Right.
It's the same thing with culture. I'm going to say my culture is the best. I expect the Haitian person to tell me his culture is the best. I expect someone from Kenya, any person, in fact, whether you don't even have to be African. I expect you to be Asian and tell me that your culture is the best, because I mean, it's your culture. It's your mama. You can't tell me your mama, my mama is better than your mama. Damn, you got problems, bruh.
Oh,
you know,
goodness.
so that's the first thing. So what happens is that when we come over here, because they don't understand the plight, and remember, African-American situation is unique in the world. There's only one group of people you have to treat this way. Nobody else, you have to teach them their culture, because there is nobody else that has their whole culture removed, right? So when you come, there's this thing of pride and also not rubbing indignities into the face of people who don't have their full culture. You know, if I come and tell you that the way you've been doing it is wrong, or your food is slave food, that's not going to sound, I don't want to hear that.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Tell me to put the salt away and pick up some herbs.
Exactly. Come on, man. Shut the hell up, man. I've been eating fried chicken my whole life.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that is there's one issue of the African American side not really appreciating what the culture means. There's no way they can appreciate it because they don't know. And then they're going to be there. Then there's the pride that comes from taking all the indignities over the years. Damn, you just want to tell me one more bad thing about myself. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really don't. So there's all those things happening on the other side. Then there's the African side feeling like, well, I'm here to compete and tell you mine's the best anyway.
Right.
So I'm over here to kick your ass anyway because I'm better than you, and I expect you to say that you're better than me.
Right.
But you're not saying you're better than me, so I'm confused. So I'm just gonna leave you alone because obviously maybe that's the way this tribe is.
My goodness.
So it's not about accepting because we don't accept anybody. Now let me give an example. There's a couple of tribes in Nigeria, the Ishekiri and the Urubu. They speak very similar. I think they speak very similar languages. Maybe, you know, they're basically the same people. I mean, it's just that one lives on one side of a river and the other lives on the other side. So for instance, you have a bunch of people, some people live in Cambridge and the other people live in, Cambridge, other people live in Boston, right? And the Charles River separates them. And they are going to swear to God that those people are different from mine. So if that is happening, I'm Efik, and then the other tribe, I think it's Ibibio. No, I'm very sure Ibibio. So these are competing tribes in the same area, competing for the same resources, right? Absolutely. The same river, they go to the same river to get their water. You know, they do this. Oh, this guy from this tribe came over here and he was beating his wife from this tribe. You know, there's all sorts of issues that's going to be coming on between the two tribes, right? Absolutely. You went to the other tribe and stole their goats.
Right.
You know, there's all sorts of things that's going to be happening. And in between that competition, there's going to be a rivalry, sort of like, you know, Iowa State and University of Iowa. You're just going to have two, you know, they're just going to always be competing forever.
Yes.
And so they're never going to accept the other side. They're never, ever. Absolutely. I mean, so if they don't accept the person that lives across the river, how are they going to accept somebody that lives across the ocean?
You know, it's really interesting and it's understandable for the simple fact that it's I'm seeing it as a form of preserving the culture, keeping the culture going. And I think it's easy for people to learn something new and let things slide. So in a sense, I understand that there has to be some kind of preservation of culture.
Yeah. Oops.
Where we going next, Alex?
No, I just know I hit the button by mistake. And that's why I am now trying to just put it back on presenter view.
I must say, you've been doing amazing with this, okay? You have been doing great.
Man, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate my sisters trying to make me look good because we on live Facebook. But you ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie.
Try to have it back.
You ain't got to lie. You ain't got to lie to these people. I'm over here just jacked up, trying to do my best. Anyway, I appreciate it. So, yeah. So there's so many issues with that culture, you know, with the tribes and them, and then it happens here. What about Haiti and Dominican Republic? I mean, come on, man. There's no difference between the people. Yeah, some people are lighter than the others, but y'all living on the same island for how many hundreds of years? Get it over with.
Right.
Y'all the same people. It's happening on our southern border. I mean, for crying out loud, you're telling Mexicans to stay off a land that is named San Francisco, El Paso. I mean, why is it all Hispanic names? Because it's the same people. Relax.
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
So if you're looking at it from that lens, so now what I did, I took a cultural artifact and showed you how it worked in Nigeria, show you how it worked in Dominican Republic, show you how it worked on the southern border, and now I'm bringing it back to now Black people and African Americans. So you can see how it's the same problem, right? So that you can look at it from a different point of view and not look at it that it's not about we accepting you. We just need you to accept yourself and come strong to the game, and we're gonna ride. And we're gonna ride. But right now, what the problem is that Africans, for the most part, are going through their own issues. Nigerians are probably the ones that can really make the difference because we're like the New York of Africa. We're like the most advanced. biggest city, that kind of thing, right? So you can, we have the, you know, maybe the extra capacity to say, okay, let's help, let's do this. But I don't think Nigerians see the reason why. And that's what I'm hoping that these conversations can hopefully show them, that this is the reason why. Because they don't, like, let me tell you what an African woman has said to me. One of my friends, I don't want to point her out, but she has said to me, but the African American women, they don't cook. They don't cook. And she's saying it kind of derogatory because she looks at cooking as a pillar of her strength. It's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing that she uses to control her family, to be an ambassador of our culture. You know, it's so positive. It's such a powerful thing that they don't cook, meaning that they're less of women.
Wow. Wow.
Right? That's the way she looks at it. Of course, nobody's going to tell you this. That's kind of rude to say. Right? But then Absolutely. I now said to her, but okay, now what is your best 3 meals? She now listed up like 3 meals that she really likes. I said, okay, well, what would you do if I erased those recipes from your memory? What would you cook?
Yes.
And then she now understood.
Yes.
Now that is because of they just don't get, it's not like they, you know, it's because they're looking at it, why are they not cooking? I'm cooking. Every Black people I've ever seen cook. It's a form of power. How can you be a woman and give up that power? Right?
Absolutely.
You know,
and cooking is that we suffer we suffer because we don't have that connection. We are stuck with American food that we have to cook. We learned to cook what the slaves gave us, the leftovers that they gave the slaves.
Yes. Meanwhile, they're cooking with a sense of pride. Look at my soup. Yes. Look at my interpretation of a 1,000-year-old recipe.
Right.
That's the way they're looking at it. This is a 1,000-year-old recipe, egusi soup, and this is my version. People come from miles around to beg me for a drop.
Wow.
You know, that's the way she's looking at it. This is the soup that my husband likes. This soup keeps my marriage together. That's the way she's looking at it. This soup, listen to what I said.
Meanwhile,
this soup keeps my marriage together.
I'm sorry. I got really hot. Because I got taken afar from somewhere. But I was just saying, meanwhile, we're nursing the man that just came back from work because he feels less of himself because he was just working with the oppressor all day and the oppressor made him feel some type of way. You know what I mean? So we are fighting a different battle and we have a different type of pride that we have to have for our families, for our households, because
but they need to understand that. They don't understand that.
Yeah, we're not tending to just a hungry men. When our man come home, we're tending to a hungry, angry man because he had to pretend to be somebody else just so he can make sure our household is straight. Exactly. So now I got to be his therapist.
Exactly. And the bottom line is that I think at this point, they have succeeded in that frustrated Black man so much that even the Black woman has lost faith, some degree of faith in her Black man. And I'm not going to say it's forever, but I will say it hurts. Because if you see what Black men are capable of when they're working in a community, in a network, where one is the bank manager, one is the architect, one is the lawyer, one is the engineer, one is the, you know, understand what I'm saying? One is the governor, one worked for this. And I'm actually naming people, I'm just thinking of people in my life. One is a senator, a federal senator. The other one is, and he's like the Ted Turner of, he's like the Ted Turner of Nigeria. Right? One is, one was assassinated because he was running for governor. These are people in my family. Now, when you now talk of a network like that, I can call Nigeria today. I mean, let's say I had like this super $1 million deal that was like, I mean, let's say somehow Governor Baker called me and said, look, I need X, Y, and Z from Nigeria, and I want you to get it for me, Marlon, but you got to talk to the president. There is no how I will not get in touch with the president of Nigeria. There's no how. I'll find the way. There's got to be, it's like 6 degrees of separation. I'm going to find somebody. That network is so powerful that without it, I don't even know how. I mean, it's like you want to cry. I want to cry.
Run by its own people. It's a country run by its own people.
Yes.
We're in a country where we can't have pride. Having pride for us here is death. If we have too much pride, we can't prosper. We have to.
That hurts me, what you just said. Oh.
But it's very true.
Oh, I know.
Is to not be able to prosper here. So we are in a battle that people in other countries just don't understand. People come from these other countries and they have this big perspective, but they also came from a place where you were able to build a culture, not out of fear. You know what I'm saying? We're living in a place where we can't be ourselves. You know,
I mean, it's the first thing I learned.
They won't hire me because of my hair.
Yes,
and
you're too uppity.
Do you know what my people looked at me like when I decided to stop perming my hair because I wanted to be naturally myself?
Wow.
That's hard. You know what I'm saying? That's hard to have your own mom be like, wait, your hair is nappy and crunchy, girl. You need to get a perm. I need you to cut them locks out of your hair. You know what I'm saying? That's deep. That hits home for me because I had to grow into that. And so to hear what you're saying, it's like, wow. You guys, I mean, in Nigeria have so much power. We don't have that power. People are dying trying to get that power.
But do we appreciate the power? That's the thing. When you have it, then you don't appreciate it.
Exactly.
That's the problem. When you have it, you don't appreciate it. When you don't have it, then you appreciate it. So never, what do they say? You don't miss your water till your well run dry.
Woo!
You don't miss your water, and that's I mean, that's the story of the whole thing. So I'm hoping that, with more of these kind of talks, with more of these kind of discussions, like I said, I definitely think we got to do that global women. I sent an email to a lady that she works with me. I mean, she's in a Nigerian, I grew up with her, also part, I know they don't like being called that, but they are. She's part of the elite. And, but she's a very strong Black woman and entrepreneur, international businesswoman, yada, 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 it goes on and on. And we need to expose those people to the people that are on ground with us here in Boston so that we can start sharing and seeing the possibilities and expanding the realm of possibilities, because people are limited. It was the first thing that I learned here. And it was my first issue with racism in America was learning that my aggressive posture was not accepted.
Wow.
Because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in working for other people. And it's not because of me, because my dad didn't work for anybody. My grandfather was self-employed. I'm self-employed. It's the way I am. So that requires a certain amount of arrogance to believe that you can get away without a job.
Right.
I'm even ashamed. I could never tell anybody that I'm working for anybody. I'd be ashamed. Oh, and that's the way I feel, to be honest. I just, to me, say, oh yeah, I got it. I mean, I'm not saying if I get a 6-figure job, no, that's a different, depends on the kind of job. But the idea is that I had to understand that being assertive, I had to learn how not to scare them, how to be assertive, because you see, like I said, you have to remove the logic and like you said, what do you say? You said the logic and emotion. What did you say? You said something like that.
Oh, I said being able to separate logic from emotion.
Yes, that logic and emotion piece it's actually, you know, like when God gives everybody a judgment, it's always very hard and it always goes to your true core of your nature. And unfortunately, despite all the suffering Black people have gone through in this country, that's still the last hurdle. You gotta be able to separate the logic from the emotion, because that emotion, you're a slave to it. And if I know that saying nigga to you is gonna hurt you, if I said that, you know, nigga to you is gonna hurt you, oops, my screen is showing. If I say nigga to you is gonna hurt you, then therefore, I know how to control you.
Absolutely.
I just have to say nigga, and you're gonna go out of pocket, you're gonna get all mad. And trust me, if I want to take you down, that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call you a nigga. Straight up. Because I know that you're gonna frazzle out and I'm gonna sit there and look calm and in control while you're looking weak and thinking that you're looking tough.
Yes, yes. Somebody told me when I was younger and I used to be like a fireball, they set me down for about 2 hours. And the point of the conversation that they were having me was this: he who angers you controls you.
Yep.
He who angers you
said it all. So therefore, we can never, I mean, and then another thing, a lot of these problems that we have to solve, you got to be clear-minded, man. I'm not saying I'm angry as hell. I know that people out there social distancing, not social distancing, they are going to directly kill Black people, especially in the South.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I know those people are directly killing my Black people. Now, am I going out there to grab guns and go crazy? No. Am I sitting down and doing nothing? No.
No.
I've been on this place screaming my top of my lungs for 2 hours, and I've been writing my organization and working on my things. And we go, you know, even we have some other programs that I want to get to really quickly, and then we can continue this discussion. But we've been going almost on 2 hours, so I just want to wrap this up and then we can continue. But yeah, we got all those things we got all these things to deal with. But it doesn't matter if we get mad and we lose control and we can't focus on solutions and work together without getting upset, without getting overly mad. Because man, we get mad over anything.
Anything, and be ready
I'm like, anything. I'm like, how are you mad at that? It was your fault.
Right.
You're just mad at me for telling you it was your fault.
Absolutely.
Oh,
right.
You don't be telling me what to do. I'm like, oh my God. Yes, I can tell you what to do because you're off point. And I will tell you, you don't have to listen, but I will tell you what to do.
Right.
Know? So, I mean, I'll just leave it at that. This has been a great discussion, and you know, it goes all the way around because health is such a big one. So I know we're definitely going to have a more discussion. I want to thank the van, and I think that this is the fact that we had a 2-hour show and it felt like an hour show.
Right.
Shows a lot of stuff. I'm sure that we can use this information we put on here is enough to really get a lot of discussion started. I love the questions you ask. I love how you actually keep me on my toes because I'm not regurgitating. I'm actually coming up with fresh material while you're talking to me. So that means it's such a great connection.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having this platform and being able to teach me as well, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're teaching me a lot about myself. You're teaching me a lot about different cultures. So I appreciate this.
Well,
thank you.
We, like my mom said, we thank God. We don't thank God. My mom, you can never get my mom to say, like, you're welcome. She does say thank God and give the praise to God. So I will just follow on that one. Oh yeah, we have to have one on that. There's the spirituality one, we might have to do a 3-hour show on that.
That's gonna have to be 3, 4, or 5, yes. Yes.
So let me see. Okay, yeah, so let me just quickly, just for the people that are watching, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed what we've talked about. The reason why we're doing this show, our Afrimerican Culture Initiative, we're a 501c Boston-based organization. Our mission is to build cultural bridges in the African diaspora through education, technology, and travel. And we have this accommodation assistance program. We are giving frontline medical staff in low-income multicultural communities here in Boston. We're giving them opportunities for rest and restoration. So we're giving them a night in a hotel, Uber rides, some Uber Eats, and you know, we're giving them a care packet, which we're going to get to next. Can't wait to show off the care package. It's coming together. It's coming together. So please donate to Afrimerican One. So this is our update. So you see that picture there? How'd you like that? So that's our.
Oh my God, that is amazing! Wow, face mask.
Yep. So we're gonna give. So basically, so yeah, the idea. We're talking to some, and we're hopefully gonna have some Zoom meetings when we get a good relationship with the hospital. Because I want to talk to the frontline workers and hear what they're talking about. And I'm sure our viewers definitely want to hear some of the stuff, and let's hear what they have to say, right? From being on the front line. So I'm hoping to gain that kind of relationship with them. But when we get there, they'll nominate somebody that's a frontline medical staff worker, and we're gonna give them one of these. We're gonna give them a hotel room to just relax and just chill, right? Wow. They can bring their husband. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Just you know, just you won't have any no macaroni and cheese to make, no rooms to clean up, no homework to worry about. Just you relaxing, taking a time out. And you know, because I can't imagine going to a hospital, working in a hospital, maybe seeing 3 or 4 people die that night, and then now go home, have to deal with some doggone homework, right? I'm not feeling that. So now they're tough, and I know they can do it, but every now and then we're going to give them a little break, and we hope that this break, and so we're going to give them a T-shirt, we're going to give them a little some masks, some African face masks. We're going to give them some just some normal face masks just so they can take home with them. Some little sanitizer that we got going there. That's the sanitizer. Some pens and a mug. And of course, our cute little bag that I'm really proud of because I designed it myself. So, yeah, I know. So that's what we're doing there. So yeah, merchandise has arrived. We've been able to hook up our accounts with Uber Health and Uber Eats. So everything is going to be streamlined. Great process. I can't wait to get started with that. You know, I'm an engineer, so putting these things together are exciting. And yeah, we're reaching out to the hospitals. We're getting feedback, but you know, they're busy. So it's kind of this balance between, you know, going in there and, you know, and getting their attention, you know, and talking to the right people because they're actually saving lives. So you know, it's getting there, and we're looking for some, you know, we're looking for sponsors. Hey, and we want you to donate. Please go to Afrimerican One at GoFundMe. Some people are wondering, why am I doing it in piecemeal? Why don't I just get the whole program together? I want people to be able to duplicate this thing. It's not for me. I want people to be able to look at this program, see what I'm doing, go back over the content. I'm doing it right. I'm putting it together right in front of you. Yeah. If you have any questions, please send me an email, villagesquare@afrimerican1.org, and I'll try to get back to you and let you know whatever you need. But basically, the second wave is coming, and we are trying to prepare and get our frontline medical staff the rest that they need so they can continue to fight. They're going to be fighting for 2 years, right? And the next wave is supposed to even be big, to even be more. So please go to afrimerican1.org/Afrimerican1 and help us out. We really appreciate it. Then this is another program that we've done it. We're about to get started, but I hadn't put it on here. I thought it was very important that let you know. Now, guys, a lot of what I'm doing is I want to show resiliency, right? I want to show you that I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm not asking for any donations. I mean, like, I'm asking for donations. Don't get that wrong. Let me reverse that. I'm asking for donations now. I'm asking for donations, but I'm not looking for grants and stuff. Like, it's the only way I'm going to get this resiliency efforts done, right? This is a grant. This is a grant that we kind of got from Boston. City of Boston is going to pay these 5 kids. But what I'm trying to say is that we're going to put these 5 kids to work on our resiliency efforts, right? They're going to be helping out with our program here. with our program that we're doing for the first responders. And I'm going to be educating them on how to be resilient. And it's not about going to ask people that don't know what we need to help us stay alive. It's about us working with the community, building systems and structures that are going to benefit our community. I've mentioned a lot of times that, and I'm waiting for somebody to give me the call. This summer, our elderly are going to need air conditioners to stay safe and socially distanced, okay? We can raise money. You don't need any magic wand to do it. You can go online right now, start the GoFundMe, and send it to your friends, send it to me, and we'll share it. And hopefully we'll raise enough money to, even if we buy only one air conditioner. Listen to me. If we buy only one air conditioner, that does the trick. We don't have to save the world, right? So that's what we're doing. So this is what we're doing this year. We have 5 kids that we're going to be hiring this summer. This program is from July 6th to August 14th. Please, if you want to apply, go to our website, go to careers, Afrimerican1.org, careers, and please sign up. And we're trying to put it together, a nice curriculum, online education. I'm going to be giving them some project management skills around event planning. We're going to be talking about African Diaspora cultural education, some of the stuff we're talking here. Of course, there will be no cursing in that one. We are partnering with the National Society of Black Engineers, and they're going to provide some information and some stuff for us to keep these kids in the STEM projects, science, technology, engineering, and math, because we need problem solvers in our community to solve our problems. So please, like I said, donate, because we got a lot of stuff going on and we need the support. Thank you. Finally, I want to tell you, please go to our website. We have a lot of resources that you may not even know about, that you can find out that are COVID related. Loads of resources, food, where to stay, discounts for first responders. There's a lot of stuff on there. So please check that out. And yeah, I think that's it. So I want to thank you for attending coming to Village Square. Once you register in our webinar, you're registered for all our everything. So you'll be getting notifications of our next show. And I want to thank Devan, and I'm very thankful that I think we have a co-host now. So I'm very, very proud, and I'm very thankful. And please sign us off. Take us away.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It was so amazing to have this conversation and be able to share all of this great knowledge. Really, really appreciate anybody watching the video. Please share it and join us for the next show.
And tell them about your podcast and your radio station, please.
Yes. Yeah. Can't forget that. So please follow my podcast on Spotify. It is called Get Into It Radio. That is spelled Get, G-E-T.
I'll make a slide next time. You'll have your own slide, and we'll make that for next time.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that it won't be a matter. But go ahead and tell them.
Yes, it's G-E-T, into it, like intuition. I-N-T-U-I-T.
Yeah. So yeah, please don't mind us. It's because we're just starting out work. This is our first real show together. She's been guest starring, so we're just getting it together. And that's what I like, I want people to see us getting it together, because I feel like when you have a finished product, some young kid might be out there and feel like it's too high a bar for them to reach, because they feel the slick, graphics and all these things. I've been working on this for 5 years, bro. That's why it looks like this. But if you start off small and just keep on trying, you can make it happen. And watch, maybe one day we'll be sitting here and it'll be a year down the road and we'll have, thousands of people following the show. But it'll start off with this little, very, very poor looking picture. But
it only gets better.
You know what? This picture came from my blog. And so I still pics and put them from our organization. I was like, if I'm doing it for the right reason, so I don't care. Sue me. And then it's called Anger Within, and Anger Within is exactly what we're talking about. And I love this picture because it just says, like, she's angry. There's something like she just has to close her eyes and just focus. to maintain, right? And that's what this is about. There's an anger that we as African Americans, we deserve to have, we need to have, but we actually need to express it, and so that we can control it and we can focus on solutions, because the anger is clouding us. It is it is distracting us. I know that we can definitely overcome anything, but this anger is going to have to be probably the first step. So thank you for attending. We're going to be doing that next Saturday, May 30th, 2020, 7 p.m. same time. Yeah, thank you and God bless. All right, so I guess now it's time to get off of. How about we stop live stream? Are you there? Stop. Okay, I have to wrap up and then let me. Okay, got it. Got it. Anyway, we stop recording. Yep.